Hello everybody, PlanetWalls here. We are just about to start our match against the TheWilddog. This is round 3 of the Classic Quarter Classic League. This is our opponent's deck. Has a couple of different routes to win. Has a Tendrils or Mind's Desire Storm trigger. It's got... well, hang on. I'll go over it in a second. We're going to be playing first. And I'll have to think about this hand. So it has an Oath of Druids, Grizzlebrand or Blightsteel win con, Tendrils. It can tinker into Blightsteel classes, so it's got 3 different combos. What I take that to mean, especially because of the Lion's Eye Diamonds, Lotus Petals, etc., is that I probably need a way to interact with him early. He also has Duresses and Thoughtseizes. So that might mean I need multiple ways to interact with him early, or I need to brainstorm something back on top of my deck. My current hand can't do anything until turn 3. So if his hand is bad, this is fairly consistent, because he can't duress anything since these are all the creatures. But if he can do something right off the bat, we'll be in a lot of trouble. I could hope to draw something, but his deck looks like it could in theory be pretty consistent. He's only got 15 lands, so if he mulligans a bunch, then we might just win off a hand like this, especially since he might be tempted to keep a hand with a lot of discard. But we really don't have any brainstorms, which would make the hand... You can protect cards with brainstorms too. I guess I'm actually tempted to keep this because I'm not sure a 6-card hand would be better when he's running so many duress effects, 4 plus also a Thoughtseize. For that reason, I'm tempted to keep this and hope that he's expecting me to be able to interact with him before he can go off, and then I can Vendilion click one of his combo pieces away. Not sure if that's viable. I might be making the wrong decision here. So we're going to go ahead and not mulligan and hope that, I don't know, see if we can interact with him. He keeps his hand on 7, so I take it that means his hand is decent. I'm actually going to lead off with a Scalding Tarn, the reason being that I kind of want to thin out my deck once. Noticeably, though, he doesn't have any Wastelands, or even a Strip Mine. Okay, so Imperial Seals, that means something bad's going to happen next turn. But, that is not all that bad, actually. See, does he have... He doesn't even have counter spell backup. So, I mean, he's depending entirely on discard. When we draw another 3-drop, which is pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and play an Island and pretend to have up Mana Drain. I'm hoping that he takes another turn trying to duress me before he goes off to essentially give me a chance to Vendilion click him. And it looks like we're going to have a chance to Vendilion click him, which is awesome. The alternative is to go for Trinket Mage. Trinket Mage can find Pithing Needle, Top, Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt could get down a Frost Titan really quickly, but I wonder if the best thing to do this turn isn't simply to play a Vendilion click during his upkeep. Great. So, hopefully it didn't name Advisor or something there. We want to name a Wizard. We're going to pass the turn. I think I wait for his draw step almost certainly. I don't see any reason not to. I mean, I guess we telecast there what we're doing, but... Okay. So he's got Orchard, Ritual, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Lion's Eye Diamond, Oath. So either he probably just drew the Oath. I have to think about something. Do I care if he plays an Oath? Yeah, probably. I think I care about that. So, I was actually going to not potentially because I have a Trinket Mage, and I can find Engineered Explosives. But that seems bad, so we're going to go ahead and make this Oath go away, which is kind of unfortunate. It gives him another draw. So that was Cabal, Dark, Lion's Eye Diamond, no more Crypt, Forbidden. Do not want to do that. Wanted to F2 that. Forbidden, Lotus Petal. And he rips a Demonic Tutor there. That's kind of bad. Huh. Is that better or worse than that Oath was? Because I have a feeling he's just going to play Oath now after all. Okay, so I guess we get blown out then. I need to quickly find a way. I'm hoping if he Oaths, I think we have to hope he Oaths into Darksteel Colossus. I'm sorry, Blightsteel Colossus, which gives us a way to Frost Titan out of there after playing a Trinket Mage. So I actually, it turns out if I would have played a Trinket Mage and found a Mana Crypt, I would be in much better shape now than if I had than just having Vendilion clicked. Because I'd be able to drop a Frost Titan. So I take it he's going to find, almost certainly he's going to find an Oath. And after finding the Oath, he's going to play the Forbidden Orchard and then play the Oath, which puts us in a horrible situation. We could also draw Stifle. Man, even landing Frost Titan is pretty bad at this point. What's happening? Oh, he's ritualing? Okay, so I guess he found a Yawgmoth's Will. So this is essentially going to... Yeah, here we go. I'm not sure if this is... Oh, he's going to try and tendril me out. Okay. It's too bad that he ripped that Demonic Tutor from the top after Vend Click. His hand was really shaky, actually. The implication is basically that he kept a hand that had all ramp in it. So here he will find a Yawgmoth's Will. And with the Yawgmoth's Will, he will cast a million spells and then look for tendrils and kill me with that, I assume. I'm going to go ahead and let him do this because I very well could have a Force Will in my hand and he could either make a play mistake or come short because of playing around Force. I'm trying to think back over this game. Since he's going the Storm route, it looks like Vendilion Click. Yeah, there's the Yawgmoth's Will. Which I guess he was just hoping resolves. It actually seems really shaky to me. I mean, this is probably still more reliable than... So we didn't have any like counter magic way to interact with them, which was certainly a bad hand to keep. I guess. But in thinking about his series of plays, we actually could have gotten away with this. It was only that he drew the one of Demonic Tutor off the Oath with Vendilion Click that we actually ended up in trouble. Yeah. So that is more than 10. I am not going to make him target me over and over again. Okay, so we have a couple of options. His sideboard essentially consists of a potential good game Oath plan. He's probably just going to bring an additional discard. Out of his main deck, I actually think he might want to keep most of these cards. Chain of Vapor is even good against Pithing Needle, for instance, which can block out his Grizzlebrand plan. For us, we have Stifle, which can counter a Storm spell. let's think. I think I bring Spell Snare in. I probably bring Annuls in, solely for like artifact mana sources, for instance. Let me think about Mental Misstep. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring that in. A second Pithing Needle. Ratchet Bomb can take out 0 cast artifacts, but generally they are only going to be cast when they're a problem. Steel Sabotage can bounce a Blightsteel, which is worth considering, so it might be better circumstantially than a Null. Tormod's Crypt can be relevant in some situations too. And what about Pithing Needle? Pithing Needle, he doesn't have a Strip Mine even. Pithing Needle is actually pretty bad. It only names like Grizzlebrand, and I guess makes Grizzlebrand crappy. But he could just as easily hit Blightsteel Colossus with Oath. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take out the Pithing Needle. We leave in the cage, obviously. That's the immediate go-to deal with that, the Storm situation. Tormod's Crypt, I think we... Nah, you know what? Grafdigger's Cage covers that too. None of these other cards seem all that relevant. So let's go ahead and start thinking about what we board out. Engineering Explosives can take care of something already on the board, but it's not extraordinary. I actually wonder if... Like, how good is Steel Sabotage? I don't think good enough. Some of the slow stuff might be questionable too. But I think if we can land a Glenalundra, we just essentially win. Venser is highly questionable. I'm going to go ahead and cut him. He can bounce a Blightsteel or something, but and so can Into the Royal. I don't think it does enough for the cost. And we want to cut one more card. I am questioning the Steel Sabotage. I kind of want to... You know what? We're not going to go ahead and keep that in. We're going to cut something, though. I think we probably just cut one of these Annuls, because it's not as good as the Spell Snare, even. So we are going to play first. We have a Brainstorm, so that's several other cards on the top. I actually want to keep this because of Brainstorm. I think. We can protect against discard. So he kept again on 7. I don't feel like this is the best keep, but the Brainstorm allowing me to see 3 more cards and then shuffle away, that's pretty good. So I think we see here if he duresses us. And then we hide our Jace. But he doesn't do that. Okay. So I'm always in these Brainstorm debacles. If I Brainstorm now, I only really... So I draw 3, put 2 back, and then draw another one before I can pop a fetch. So there's only 1 card from my hand I really put back by that point. I would probably lose the Cavern, almost assuredly. I might want to wait till main phase to do that, but then if I do have a mana drain, I can't end up using it. However, I get to go 1 card deeper brainstorming. It's just that 4 cards in my deck become unusable as counterspells. So I guess my theory is that brainstorming now is going to be worthwhile for the reason that I can keep up mana drain if I see that. Wow, a million Frost Titans. Okay, well, Caracas, interestingly, takes care of Grizzlebrand, I guess, kind of, or Emrakul if he goes that plan. Does not take care of Blightsteel. It's like out of these cards, what don't I want to see? And again, I think Cavern is that card. So go ahead and put that back. The question's actually going to be whether I want to play a Caracas or a... No, I definitely wait on the Caracas, so we'll just go ahead and draw the Scalding Tarn. Seeing 2 Frost Titans in the top 3 cards is probably one of the worst things I could ever imagine. We have no serious ability to interact with them, we have to hope that his plan is essentially to oath out Grizzlebrand to buy us a little bit more time. Because this is during his main phase, so maybe he was looking for a land or something, but it seems like he would have just Imperial Sealed for that. This is unfortunate. We have no way to interact with them until turn 4. Would really like to see a Force of Will or, I don't know, something. And the worst part is if he duresses, he can still take a Jace. He can't take Glenalendra, which is like almost better than Jace, but it takes an extra turn. Okay, so we are definitely gonna blow this up. That gives us something to do, for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if I want to reveal I have Caracas, but I might want to save the Flooded Strand for a Brainstorm, especially because I have a Jace, but I might need to crack it anyway just to cast the Jace, and alternatively, the issue with, what am I trying to say? I might just want to thin out my deck so I don't draw even more lands. Yeah, because playing the Caracas now isn't that interesting. It might cause him to go a different route with his combo. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Flooded Strand just for the sake of thinning out my deck. My guess is that he throws a little bit of disruption at us. Okay. I'd still be extremely surprised if we win this game, even though he hasn't done anything quite yet. This turn could still involve a lot of artifact mana, one of which I could counter with a null. Like, the thing is, he knows I have Grafdigger's Cage in the deck, so he could be playing around that in a certain manner of speaking. Okay, so right after popping the fetch, I guess we draw Brainstorm, which is the way things happen sometimes. The different options this turn involve playing Glenalendra or Jace, or playing a main phase Brainstorm. If I play main phase Brainstorm, I could find a Soul Ring, or what else could I find? Could I find, say I'm going to have 3 available then. I could find a fetch if I played it before playing a land. I could find, I'm looking at his deck, Mana Crypt, and then play something else. I actually think it might be better to hide things from a duress, maybe, but if that's happening, maybe the damage is already done. I could drop a Jace and try to Fate Seal him, but I feel like Fate Seal doesn't do very much, especially when he's got Catacombs out. So maybe the play is to Brainstorm now. Yeah, I'm actually strongly considering that. I think I'm going to Brainstorm now. Let's see what I can find. Wow, another Frost Titan, huh? That sucks. Okay, so... I think the land to play this turn is going to be Island. We don't need all these Frost Titans. That's for sure. It's extremely unfortunate that that's what was on the top of our deck. Since I'm not playing Jace this turn, I think I hide that. And then keep 2 cards that can counter an Oath. So, and then I go ahead and I play Island, because then I'm bluffing Mana Drain and another counterspell. Next turn we can land maybe Glenalendra, and I'm not sure what ways he has to deal with that. Okay, so here's an Oath of Druids. Do I annul this, or do I spell snare this? Because I can annul it, but I can also annul artifact mana, which is essentially the other win con. Wait a minute, do I also have a... I also have a Frost Titan on top of my deck. I have a Jace and then a Frost Titan? Okay, hang on. So I'm in a situation where he gives me a dude, so I can't oath. He oaths. He gives me another dude, and I can't oath. So he's going to prevent me from oathing. I have to counter this with something. Just do I want to keep a Spell Snare? Because he could Demonic Tutor, or Ritual, or Infernal Tutor. I guess I'm inclined to think that those spells are more key than the artifact mana, so I'm going to go ahead and annul this now. Not a certain play by any means for me. So now we draw our Jace, and there's a Frost Titan on top. So here are the plays. We could Glenalendra and have a single counterspell for anything in his deck. Or we could play Jace and either Fate Seal or do something else and also keep Spell Snare. I guess I feel like Glenalendra is just the stronger play. Though it doesn't feel very strong right now because I feel like he can bust through a single counterspell. Though I'm doubting he has any way to deal with that in particular. It's too bad the next card is going to be a Frost Titan. So here he Thought Seizes. I don't think I can afford to counter this. Hope he takes a Frost Titan. I could have countered that with the Glenalendra, and then maybe he would have thought I have Force of Will in my hand. But that still makes for only one counterspell, probably. I mean, he wouldn't think I have two Forces in my hand and two blue cards. I mean, I think he takes Jace here. I assume. Once Frost Titan lands, he probably loses, but... Well, that might not actually be true. It's just going to be a while before those Frost Titans come down, due to the distinct lack of mana drain, etc. So, okay, so he took Spell Snare, which is interesting. I'm probably going to have to counter whatever this is. So here's a question. Is the implication that he's playing the Good Game Oath variant? Because if he's not, I can just play a Jace and bounce whatever he brings up. Has he played a land this turn? No. He hasn't, definitely. So he knows I've got Jace. He could definitely play like a Lotus Petal and do a bunch of stuff and just win this turn, potentially, depending on what his hand looks like. And so if he's able to hit the Dragon Breath, then he just kills me, essentially, when he oaths. So he could play a series of spells right now, which he does not do, fortunately. And we draw that sad Frost Titan. Alternatively, Grizzlebrand gets bounced too, and Emrakul. I don't know, maybe letting that resolve was good because of the Caracas. I don't feel good about that, though. So I definitely think what I do here, because of the low quality of my own hand, is I play Jace, and I think it's probably better to brainstorm here. See if we can find some kind of counter magic, which we do find, and a land. So this is going to go, and that's going to go. And we can play this, and I almost want to play the top right now. I think that has to be right. Yeah. Okay, so if we get lucky, I think we'll be okay this game. I'll just not forget to do anything like activate Jace at some point. Gotta say, I'm definitely feeling much better with 2 counter spells. I kind of, even if he passes the turn to me, I don't think I'm going to tap to look at the last card, because it strikes me as incredibly dangerous to potentially let a Vampiric Tutor slip through. Actually, what are his instant speed options? Really, only his Hurkyl's Recall he's not going to play. It's like Brainstorm, Chain of Vapor, and Vampiric Tutor. None of those are instant speed options I'm scared of. Oh, so I should have tapped, but now it's our turn. That's classy. So let's go ahead and get in there. If I can draw a land, I think I'd just go ahead and cast a Frost Titan. And then we probably get the concession. And we do. And we have a Stifle too, which is actually really good in this match. I think what I actually do is I put the Frost Titan down, and I put the Stifle on top, and then I can tap it into it if I need to. So at this point, we go ahead and we just hard cast this baby. And I don't think we care about his green as much right now. And I'm not going to use Glenalundra if I can force and then also use a Stifle. Okay, so here it comes. If he's going the Storm route, I definitely just play for Stifle. And if he plays the Yawgmoth's Will, I think I just go ahead and counter it. That has to be right, I think. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that token. If we had one more, he'd be dead next turn. Huh. So he's going to discard and find a card. Okay, so now he has 2 Duresses. That's not going to cut it because of top, I don't think, and because of Glenalundra. So, okay. So what we do here, EOT, is we top. And I think what we want to do is draw the Frost Titan, or do we want to be able to stifle and... This is actually really curious. Do we want to play another Frost Titan this turn? We probably do. So I think the island leaves stifle in the top, and that puts me in a situation where, I mean, basically all the Frost Titan does is it taps a mana source, which isn't extraordinary. He can stifle. I'm sorry, he can duress me twice. So he just takes the Force of Will. And then I think I want 2 counter spells. So I think actually, do I draw the land and then play another Frost Titan? That seems really sketchy. I don't think I do that. I think I don't play the Frost Titan. I think I take the land, which brings me to a total of 8. And then I can force... I don't even need that land then. Like, the most things I can do in the turn are Stifle and Glenalundra and play a Frost Titan. But then I don't have another spell for Force of Will, which he's just going to Stifle anyway. I'm sorry, which is just going to duress anyway. So maybe that's what I do. But that just seems bad, though, because tapping down one of his lands isn't that extraordinary. So I want to leave Stifle on the top so he can't duress it. And if he duresses the Force of Will, which he's definitely going to do, then I can counter the duress with Glenalundra, but I can counter anything with the Glenalundra. So if I go Island, Stifle, Frost Titan, I draw the Frost Titan. I think I want to draw the Island instead of the Frost Titan. I'm just not going to cast Frost Titan this turn. So that's how we're doing this. We also get to play activate Jace, which, you know, is worth remembering. I guess we could look at the top card of this deck. Might be better just to brainstorm to keep a Force of Will on top. Yeah, that might actually be better. Wow, another... Oh yeah, I guess that's just another island. So we don't need this island. I think what I do is I keep... He's going to duress twice, and I think the Stifle is more valuable than the Force of Will. So we put this Frost Titan on? No, we definitely put the Stifle on top. And then we play the island, and we attack with all of our dudes. And we tap down the underground. Actually, at this point, he can't give us another guy. We tap down the Forbidden Orchard. He goes to 1. We have 8 mana. We can Sensei's Divining Top, tapping to find a Stifle. I think I definitely cast the Frost Titan now. And now we pass. And so he Dark Rituals. Do I care about that? I don't think I care about that. I mean, he can't... Actually, maybe I do care about that, because otherwise he can't do anything. I think I forced that. So now his duresses are useless. Okay, so he good games, so I take it. I mean, now I'm going to draw that Stifle. Okay, so I guess he's just recognizing that I'm slow and he's trying to time us out. Okay, so we won game 2. Now this game we're going to be on the draw, which is super scary. In some ways it makes our annul plan worse. I think it makes Steel Sabotage a little better because I can bounce an artifact. That's certainly not extraordinary though. Would Venser have been better than any of these things? And do we want to find a way to put another annul on the deck? I don't know about that. I actually kind of like the way that I set it up. Might be nice to have a Tormod script to get rid of. I just think that Grafdiggers is better. So we saw all of our Frost Titans that game and we managed to win. So this hand gives us no interactivity, but it gives us a turn 2 Grafdigger's Cage. That, if he duresses us right off the bat, we lose that advantage. And then we're playing like we would normally. So on the draw with no interactivity, that seems pretty bad to me. But we also have a really fast Trinket Mage, potentially. I'm just not sure the value of that. If I do turn 1 Trinket Mage, I could actually find a Soul Ring. So that gives us turn 2 Island, Mana Crypt, play a Soul Ring. That gives us turn 3 Frost Titan, but that might be just too slow. I'm going to go ahead. I mean, he snap capped, so I worry that he has a way to win very quickly. I'm also worried about duress right off the bat, which would take the Mana Crypt and slow this hand way down. But duress would ruin my 1 counterspell that I would draw anyway. I think I have to keep this just because of the power of duress. Like, I would have to find multiple counterspells in another hand. So we're going to ride this wave. Hopefully just Imperial Seals again. Or plays a Mana Vault. That's okay, I guess. And we draw a Force Will. So basically what I'm trying to say is I feel pretty good. This Mana Crypt could kill us pretty quickly. Something we need to recall, as it were. Okay, so we could find Grafdigger's Cage and turn off a couple of his different outs. That turns off his Yawgmoth's Will, and it turns off his Yawgmoth's Will, and it turns off his Oath. So I think I just go ahead and do that, even though it's really, really tempting to try and land a Frost Titan really soon by finding a Soul Ring. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. He has answers. He has ways to deal with Grafdigger's Cage. Like, he could actually ritual into a Grizzlebrand, which would be pretty funny, actually. He could get rid of Grafdigger's Cage with a Chain of Vapor. Like, he's only got 1, so he has to tutor for that, I think. Also, Grafdigger's Cage takes care of Tinker. Tinker for Blightsteel, anyway. You can still Tinker for a Soul Ring, I guess. I actually feel kind of hampered because I won't be able to cast a Vendilion Click this next turn if I play the Cage. I could wait to play the Cage to get the beat on with the Click. Okay, so now we have a Demonic Tutor. What would he find? Like Necropotence? Chain of Vapor, maybe? I don't really want to counter that. I think it would be wrong to counter. Yeah, I think so. My guess is he finds Chain of Vapor to try and get rid of the cage. Note that we've got one Flooded Strand. That puts it as 19. We just don't want to be at 18, if possible. We don't want to be in a multiple of 3. And judging by how long it's taking him, he doesn't know exactly what to find here, which is good. Okay, so there's a Lotus Petal, which gives him 3 mana. We're definitely looking to counter a Yawgmoth's Will this turn, or something equivalently horrible for us. Okay, so he's trying to tinker right now. Yeah, I think I've got to counter that. I think I actually removed the Frost Titan here, because even though I'm super attracted to that plan, I think it's going to be too long before we can get him out, even with Mana Crypt. Okay, so now we may not want to play the Flooded Strand for a little bit. We lost. Bummer. We drew another Frost Titan. So, this turn we can actually just play main phase B Vendilion Click, and I think that's probably the way to go. We actually played on ourselves and look for another card, but I think trying to disrupt is much better, getting a gist of what's going to go on. Imperial Seal, Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay. Let me think about this. Do I want to actually remove the Imperial Seal? That's my big question right now. He's not going to be able to cast anything from his graveyard. He'll have 2 more cards if I remove the Imperial Seal, but the rest of his hand is pretty bad. Do I not take anything? So what could he do? What would be his best play? He obviously knows his deck better than I do. Oath doesn't do anything. Chain of Vapor is something he could find. I think I got to take the Imperial Seal because my own knowledge of the deck isn't proficient enough for me to be able to handle that. I know that's a silly reason, but I'm trying to hypothesize, and I think he has too many options if I don't take that. He gets to draw an extra card, which is difficult for me. He could... What could he do with Imperial Seal? He could find Necropotence, I guess, or maybe Tendrils. And just try to, like, storm me out with Mind's Desire or something. I don't know. I know that he has a Grizzle, LED, and a Petal in his hand. And then 2 unknowns. Okay, so that's a good sign. Let's not lose all these flips. Good. Spell Snare is something relevant, which is good to know. And I'm going to play the Flooded Strand, and if we draw a land next turn, I will try and kill him with a Frost Titan. And having the Spell Snare is really good. Even though he's already used Demonic Tutor, it still can counter an Infernal Tutor, I think it's called. Which is still going to be relevant, or a Cabal Ritual. But I guess he drew that Catacombs at some point. Cool, 1 again. We draw a Soul Ring, so we can, I think, play our Frost Titan this turn, unless we want to keep Spell Snare up. But I actually think tapping down a land might be better. Especially because it ends him next turn. I guess it gives us one fewer option if he wants to Infernal Tutor. I think the Frost Titan has to be right. Either way, we have to play this. By this, I meant the Soul Ring, to be clear. So it's possible that was wrong. Oh god. If he finds a 2 casting cost card, I guess I'm going to be real sad. Yeah, he could find an... Okay, so I may have just play mistaked us out of this game. I mean, I know for a fact he's not going to be able to cast anything from his graveyard. But if he already has a Chain of Vapor in his hand... If he would have played that, he would have been at 5 anyway. It's like I've got 1 card in hand. It could be a mental misstep, so, I mean, though I would have, I think, misstepped the Vampiric Tutor, he knows. But I'm still going to play it, like, I have to think. So what do we know is in his hand right now? A Grizzlebrand, an Unknown, a Lotus Petal, and a Lionside Diamond. So he's going to have access to 5, I guess. We have 4. Let's see what he's got. If he has a Ritual, I actually think that might be difficult for us to deal with, because he could Ritual into something else and use those cards, I guess. There's the Petal. I'm still operating on the assumption that Grafdigger's Cage protects us from this whole plan, because it basically doesn't literally counter in game rules, but it counteracts his Yawgmoth's Will. It'd be pretty exciting if we won this match. So what's he cast? He's cast 1 spell so far. Okay, and we get to untap. So that's a 3rd flip 1, which is lucky. Now we have a Brainstorm, which is also lucky. And I'm going to crack in there with all these guys. Oh, and he says good game. Okay, well, thanks everybody for watching. I've got to take a screen capture of this, you know, to show the winning screen. So let's just go ahead and save that. And thanks everybody for watching.